Oh, I can hear myself now.
Yeah, you want to turn your stuff off. So then YouTube videos, no. Where's my share a PowerPoint button? Oh, there. Oh, you beauty.
Okay, I've muted myself, so
you can see what's on the screen though, right?
Yep.
So right now you're seeing my PowerPoint slide sorter.
Exactly. So now then you go to
I just have to share a different window.
Yeah.
I see. It's all right.
And what it'll do with that setting is that you'll still be able to see yourself in this chat box while also seeing your slider.
Right, so now you can see the
Yeah.
slide. So let's go. It should be 1, 2. Oh, I see. I actually need to be in that window. Let's do this. Yeah, because I need that window open to be able to. Oh, hang on. It maximizes and minimizes it. I can't advance slides though if I'm on a different thing, right?
You can advance it, like I just had it off on the side yesterday, and then you just kind of advance it through that.
I see.
Because you can make this window smaller, just put that on one side and then.
Yeah. Hi, Ian. We can hear you. Hello, Sonia. I don't know how to use mute, so you'll have to keep hearing me. There we go.
They've also just promoted for us.
Hey, no questions yet. It's best to track the Q&A, not the chat, right?
I think everyone's just been putting everything in the chat.
Have they?
Actually,
I'm the boss. I'll just ask people to do that.
Yeah.
Perfect, Sonia. That's what I'll do. I'll ask them just to stick it in chat. Assuming she's listening, she might not be. Thank you.
You can see in the top right corner how many people have joined. So there's 11 eyes on it.
Maybe you can be heard.
Oh, you can.
Yeah.
I turned my mic on.
Yeah, but I've got mine. That's all right. I don't see the eyes though. Yeah, no. That's because I've minimized the screen. Doesn't matter. Good morning or afternoon. Everyone, I'm just going to wait maybe 1 minute maybe 1.5 minutes just for people to arrive, and then we'll get going, okay? Nigeria, Albright, good Lord. I'm only in Canada, not nearly so glamorous. Oh, I see the eyes thing now. Hey, Inez, hello, Indianapolis. I like Indianapolis. That's a nice part of the world. You won't hear many people saying that on a Thursday morning. So for everyone who's here, I'm going to wait maybe 30 more seconds, and then we'll just get on with it. And what we're going to do is use this chat window for any Q&A and things, so we won't fiddle around with all the different boxes and things. If you've got questions, feel free to dump them straight into the chat window, and I'm happy to cover them. Victoria, BC, just across the water. I'm in Vancouver, BC. Good morning, Stefania. It is good morning, yes. All right, I see that I'm starting 2 minutes late, so that seems late enough for me. So we'll get on with it, and welcome everybody. My name's Ian Gilbert from PureWeb, here in sunny today, Vancouver, British Columbia. This, by the way, is what happens when a Welsh person lives in Canada for 20 years. You end up with this kind of accent. So hopefully I'm being clear and concise for everybody, and glad to speak. What we'll aim to do, I think we get a window of about 45 minutes. I'm going to aim to not talk for any more than 30. I can tend to waffle a bit. I'm already doing it, but we'll make our best effort at going for about 30 minutes. Do interrupt with any questions you have. I'll be honest about the ones I can answer and the ones I can't, and we can always take stuff offline if needs be. And I'll endeavor to be as interesting as possible on this Thursday morning or evening, depending on your part of the world. So we're here to talk about immersive experiences, and particularly, given what my company does, capturing a global audience using cloud streaming and associated capabilities. And it's been interesting listening over the last day or so and earlier this morning to the various speakers in their sessions. I'm no expert in parts of this industry, but I'm learning a lot about AR, VR, MR, XR, hybrid R, I heard about this morning in a really interesting session. The metaverse is interesting. The real verse, I'm told, is something as well. At PureWeb, we're a company that's been around for a little over a decade, and both through our product naming and also through the things we do for customers. We think a lot about audiences. We think a lot about the use of technology. And in particular, we think and our customers think about areas that are being discussed at this session that often gets ignored.
It's the real world and
real customer needs and real value from the technology and the capabilities we're involved in building. And we come about that honestly. As I say, we're over a decade old, and our heritage has been, continues to be, in the healthcare sector. It's a little over 2,500 healthcare facilities globally across about 45 countries who use our collaboration and diagnosis platform. It's called ResMD. And they use that to share and to leverage for diagnosis, patient diagnostic imagery, results, and integrated data and AI recommendations in order to drive real healthcare outcomes. And in that world, although we're a technology provider, and although the background image here is a real one from our product, although visualization and immersion in imagery and experience is an important part of what we do, not one single pixel can be inaccurate anywhere in the world for any user on any device in a world where diagnostic decisions are being made using this imagery. And as we've evolved through healthcare and into broader business-to-business applications of what we call reality, it's really our product name, we've taken a lot of that learning, a lot of what our customers give us as feedback, and we've applied that in order to provide solutions to customers globally. So what we do broadly is we power interactive 3D streaming, integration and collaboration. And we do that through a software platform and associated web tools and a developer software development kit that's available to the creative and development community. And really what our capability enables companies to do globally and at massive scale is orchestrate the systems that allow customer experiences to get into the hands of customers wherever they are, any device, anytime, anywhere, and to ensure that rendering of the experience, however complex, is happening with minimal quality degradation at the highest possible quality, that the responses between users or the interactions between users are handled dynamically and in real time, and that the entire desired customer or stakeholder experience or patient experience or diagnoser experience, if that's a word in healthcare, is happening at very high performance, very high levels of fidelity, in real time, anywhere. And that can be very useful. It's not for everybody, but in the business to business world, across areas like training and simulation, customer engagement, learning, there's been a substantial amount of value for that. And we spend a lot of time with our customers thinking about the desired experience that they've designed for their stakeholders. Very often, of course, we talked about it a lot at this conference, the end result is something extraordinary, but often fairly narrowly focused. This is from some Audi work that was done in the past couple of years that involved the use of VR for a virtual buying experience in dealers. And when you think about the overall buying experience in the auto retail world, the reality is the dealer experience, I mean, frankly, that's what most people are trying to avoid. So you ask yourself, was it the design of the journey that we had to end up in the dealership in order to leverage the virtual reality experience, which, as we found with many of our customers, this is a partner of ours called Lunas, who build work in a variety of spaces. I'll show a couple of their sets of imagery through this session. Did our customers, their partners, the OEM, in this case, the manufacturer, did they really desire that customers should have to get to the dealership in order to strap on a headset so that a car salesperson could walk them through what they were seeing in virtual reality? Or did they really have a more realistic continuum in mind that represented their real buyer journey? And obviously the answer is the latter. So we spend a lot of time with our customers, and they think about this a lot, thinking about in terms of the customer and stakeholder outcomes we're looking for, what's the journey they go through? I did some Googling for this session and I got bored. I Googled customer journeys, user journeys, learner journeys, all manner of journeys. And although some different rhetoric is used, I just cut and paste the first three results I got. When you actually examine the journeys that organizations take stakeholders through, they're very similar. Whether it's a learner, a partner, a prospect, a customer, all accumulative, all build to something. Many look sequential, but really are designed to be circular, all random, user controlled. But there's always a narrative involved. The narrative is the key. And too often we design that end immersive, graphical, visual, beautiful VR or AR experience for a point in this narrative. And if we can actually get to a global audience or our desired audience on a wide scale throughout the life cycle of this narrative, maybe there are some opportunities for us as either marketers or trainers or educators or influencers. And so our clients think a lot about the range of touch points through that narrative journey, some of which rightly include a virtual, augmented, expanded, or other reality capability, but in many cases offer up a series of micro touch points on which they can add value or leverage an asset or provide a step in the journey towards something fully immersive. This is our partner Lunas again, and a project they ran in Moscow for real estate development, in this case apartment sales. And if any of you have been through the apartment buying experience or have watched friends or family as they've done it, it's one of the most important decisions you can make in your life. It's stressful, you dream about it, it's one of the most meaningful things you can do, and yet very often we're presented with an extraordinarily disappointing experience. And as we think about the application of technology and that kind of capability to this experience, very often what we've continued to do is design experiences that fit at a point. Maybe you can go to my show suite, strap my VR headset on, or use my touchscreen as the person's doing here, and get an experience. But really, when you think about that entire continuum of real estate buyers going through, there's a lot more they want, and a lot more they want to immerse themselves in, from understanding what the local services and facilities are, to thinking about what the view out of the window might be, to even thinking about, and I'm going to a separate part of the experience that Lunas built for, in this case, an American developer called Toll Brothers, to selecting my couch, thinking about or dreaming about what my kitchen's going to look like. And maybe if you're the construction organization, you want that to tie into your supply chain, because one, you haven't built the condo building yet, you're trying to sell. Two, you don't want infinite possibilities on countertop design. You want them to choose from one of three choices so you can reduce your costs and drive massive profit and efficiency in your model. So maybe you want the opportunity to interact in this experience at some point, but you want to do it on a global basis because you're selling to a global audience for this multi-million-dollar apartment. So if you think about the number of data points, possible touches along the experience, and the opportunities to either build something fully immersive or create immersion along the way, even though your audience might be, a continent away on devices you can't control and cannot mandate, you've got opportunities. And the way we help our customers solve for those kind of challenges is through cloud streaming. It's nice to be able to feature some partner work as we do it. I'm going to take a second and just pause because I want to read. Raju, you wrote a long point here and I want to make sure I read it. Yes, we will stay in touch to collaborate. You've got lots in common with what customers are trying to do right now. So we work with our customers to think about a lot of that. And the culmination of that is those beautiful images and those extraordinary touchscreen-based experiences, virtual reality experiences, but also a wide range of other things. And I'll just take you through what we work on as the 5 touch points. I'm trying not to make it too much of a paid advertisement. At the same time, I'm going to tell you what my company does because I think it's interesting and valuable. So along the route that we follow with customers, there are 5 things that they are thinking about and trying to solve for. The first is the realization of the experience that they envisage in their head, the realization of that narrative that I referred to either. Not just that final visualization or experience, although that's an important part of it, but the entire cumulative flow that dictates the journey that they would love customers and stakeholders to take. And so journey design, tie a narrative, is a really important part of the dialogue that our customers are excited about having. There's definitely going to be an immersive VR experience somewhere in there, but what else could there be? Importantly, therefore, what other assets might already exist that can be leveraged? In one of the experiences I showed you a little earlier there, you saw floor plans and you saw blueprints and documentation like that. That exists already. Those are things that are already built and can be reused. Many companies for their products have already developed things like CAD plans, have already built building walkthroughs. We talk to universities a lot about how they do virtual tours for overseas students and those kind of things. A lot of the assets needed to be able to create the long-term narrative exist already. And our customers also think about which bits don't need to be so immersive in that entire story. Where can you use something in 2D? Where can you use a piece of video, a piece of audio? Where can you actually valuably use a real life experience? Because that's part of the journey too. And then that provides good framework for the discontinuous innovation. A great framework for where you build something truly special as part of that entire opportunity. And we find ourselves helping companies. I feature some of our partners' work. Those partners, of course, help many of our customers realize their ideas or reuse assets or ingest data that isn't so beautiful to share with stakeholders into the tools that allow that to become more beautiful, and find a way to start now and begin building experiences for people rather than trying to build the perfect thing in a year's time. Second thing our customers think about a lot is integration. And there's a few levels for this. As you think through those series of steps that were illustrated earlier on, in all those points, there are assets that can be used. There is data that can be drawn in, or data sources that can be drawn in. You want the view out of a window of a virtual condo, you can get that, but somebody's going to have to fly a drone around and grab some photography or some footage to be able to make it really realistic, but it can be done. There are workflows and systems of record to be built in. Want to sell a car? Want to sell a condo? Want to really educate a learner and track their progress? You're probably going to need to integrate with the customer experience system, the CRM platform, the learning management system, or with other affiliated data sources in order to ensure that you're able to pass data in a way that's materially valuable to your organization. Want to build a journey that has multiple types of asset, a video, a piece of 2D material, something immersive on their phone, something deeply immersive via VR. You're going to want to tie those things together and integrate the entire set of assets and experiences. And PureWeb spends a lot of time helping our customers do that. Our software development kit provides a rapid roadmap and an accelerated route to those kind of things for our customers. Third thing, I'm actually going to talk about cloud streaming for a second, is the publishing of that series of experiences. We work with a variety of customers and partners who do everything from heavily scheduled classroom training and simulation experience in areas like flight safety and maintenance or pilot training, all the way through to those companies, and I showed a couple of them there, who literally need their experiences to be available globally all the time until the job is done. And there are different publishing models for that. You're probably going to need to integrate or interact with one of the major cloud service vendors, AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, some of the emerging players in that space like CoreWeave, those kind of things. But you're going to need to think about regionally, where's my desired audience? What is my need for really low latency for certain experiences and the kind of performance that just has to be delivered perfectly? And that's a particular issue, of course, in virtual reality, where latency has so much to do with whether you or I are going to vomit in the middle of an experience or whether we're actually going to have a good time. And what's my necessary availability and scalability? And there's an art to working with cloud service providers in that regard, and we have some specialization there. But then there are a series of optimizations and orchestration tools that are necessary to just make that simple. Any one of us can engage with, say, AWS and arrange to stream whatever experience we want, access massive GPU capacity, do crazy things. But it is not easy, nor is it desirable activity for most people. And so we spend a lot of time helping our customers simplify that, orchestrate it at massive scale, and importantly, orchestrate it for massive volumes where necessary on a global basis. One must take care in planning for how many tens or hundreds of thousands of people you think are really going to engage with parts of your audience. But the reality is, it is feasible to get beautiful experiences that run gloriously for massive audiences, but it takes some work. And we use our toolkit and some of our experience to be able to help customers do that. Fourth thing they think about is, how do I drive collaboration? If you're going to get to a massive audience, there's a number of opportunities once you're in front of it, or a global audience. Could be small but global, could be massive. Some of the same issues exist. One, what are the interactions I really desire as part of my overall journey? Do I want my customers to talk to each other? Interesting. Difficult to achieve, but possible. Do I need a salesperson or a trainer or an instructor to lead the experience that is being driven globally? Again, complex, achievable, and there are tools to enable to do that. Do I need some interaction that is triggered by an action or an outcome that happened in an earlier part of the experience? Also highly desirable in some workflows, somewhat complex, absolutely achievable. And so our clients think a lot about those series of collaborative elements. Do I need a live person in video form suddenly involved in this immersive experience who can interact live with people? Do I need an avatar? Does it need to be proactive, reactive, driven by data? Lots to think about at each step in that journey of engagement with your stakeholders. Entirely feasible to orchestrate that kind of collaboration on a distributed global basis. Final piece our customers thinking about is the measurement of outcomes. And I said this earlier, this was designed to be cyclical. I'm terrible at PowerPoint, so hence it's linear. But clearly the point of measurement is so that you can iterate, revert back, make adjustments and changes in the spirit of good, constant improvement of your process. And there are a number of questions that our customers spend time asking. Given they're mostly in the B2B world, they're asking about, what's my purpose? Am I looking for conversions? Was I trying to drive loyalty at some point in this scenario? Was there an effect desired on retention at any point in a B2B world? Am I trying to generate leads? Am I trying to win business? And all companies we interact with want one or some of those things. Most companies we work with find it very difficult to conceive of how they would either understand or extract that data from a virtual experience or a 3D immersive experience, and more so, how do they connect the dots to the next phases and iterate? Again, we're a technology business. We have technology that enables them to set up the means by which to analyze or work with those data sets and to iterate the experiences they build in order to improve the outcomes. When customers think about this is if it was a cycle on my PowerPoint, it would be a cycle of continuous improvement. This is what leads to the desired business, commercial, or measurable quantitative outcomes that were always envisaged at the point of design of beautiful VR and AR experiences. We work with one of Europe's, that's hyperbole, Germany and the Netherlands' largest property developer. It's a company called BPD. Who through last year and this year have been working to slowly but surely build out experiences in the virtual world that are integrated to their real life show home and sales experience in order to have an impact on the housing projects they're involved with. They're involved in a lot of social housing projects and green housing projects, and really interesting company. They shared stats with us towards the end of last year. And if one is mercenary, these things are really interesting. They want to generate leads. And in their first iterations of projects and narrative, they increased their qualified lead flow in the region of 38, 39%. That's significant in the real estate world. They sell off-book, pre-sale. They'll sell you a property before they've built it. And that's an important consideration in the financial flow in the real estate world. Their pre-sales numbers increased by 13%, integrating the right virtual experiences throughout their journey. Their time to close real estate sales reduced by 40% by using a blend of real life and virtual experiences. And I should add, their experience did not leverage VR or AR. It was simple, beautiful 3D immersive experiences, but done on mobile devices and those kind of things. Really quite straightforward stuff. And their client satisfaction levels, the real measure. How happy are they making people through what is a really unpleasant experience sometimes buying a property? Client satisfaction in that entire process up by 82%. Extraordinary levels of value at a commercially relevant level from a digitized experience integrated globally for buyers around Germany and the Netherlands, many of whom could not get to the physical environment they were thinking of buying in order to build an overall flow that made logical sense and delivered meaningful business value. It also leads you to experiences. This is an example from Volkswagen from last year, who actually started their thought process around what to do about the elimination of live car shows in Europe. And they built themselves a virtual car show, but thought through the whole experience about a global audience base and began to build a really beautiful and engaging mobile experience in the lead up to the virtual show that was designed to build early interactivity, early engagement, early customer demand, and had a really wonderful effect with customers. But you can see from the deliverables here, they weren't just designing a single experience. They were taking assets from multiple worlds, connecting them into a continuum, thinking about the audience and device access, and making something that customers loved, eliminating the downside that existed with the reduction in physical show opportunities, and turning a difficult year last year into an asset scenario for them. So these are the things we do. These are the customers we work with. These are the problems they're trying to solve. And I think my overall message here is that I know for many of you, you're thinking about the development of functionally valuable, beautifully designed and developed, high utility and engagement experiences in VR, in AR, and in the other arts. I would encourage you to learn from our customers that, one, the entire journey is the narrative we're looking to influence, and leveraging assets in the lead up to or to include your VR or AR experience, really, really important. Two, as one of a number of vendors in the market that helps our customers get at a global audience with those experiences as intended from a fidelity, latency, quality, and performance perspective, there are options for you to consider how to get to an audience who aren't constrained by device type, by equipment access, in many cases by things like bandwidth. We work with a lot of oil and gas firms, and delivering interactive and immersive experiences to an oil rig teaches you a lot about what the hell to do about bandwidth. So there are solutions. They're never the same for an individual customer. But if we really anticipate this market growing at the levels that are forecast, and I believe that's going to happen, if we can examine that entire narrative and fulfill it with services that are delivered globally to a broad customer base, we all stand to drive some really important business value. For those of you who are developing experiences, those kind of things, we offer, I'm going to call it a limited free trial. It's limited because right now it's limited to those people who are developing in either Unreal Engine, the Epic gaming platform, or to Unity. Having mentioned many other types of asset, right now we've offered up a free trial that is limited to people in those environments. But if you're developing anything in those environments, do either write down that link really quickly, or just go to the PureWeb website, top right corner, there's a button that lets you go free trial. Or if others have questions, comments, just want to shout at me or tell me my lighting was bad, feel free to email me directly, and I'm more than happy to facilitate further conversation. Raju, I'll follow up with you at some point. But if anyone has questions, please do feel free to pose them. Happy to answer or field. Otherwise, there you go. I said I talked for 30 minutes. I talked for 28. Not too bad. Good question on payment. This is not a fudge answer, but there are more than one answer to this question. As I said, there's a number of usage postures. We've got some customers who just want to do, heavily booked or regulated or scheduled activity, and there's a model there where, the schedule and user volume does drive pricing. In many cases where you're designing something that's meant to be more ubiquitous, we charge just simple licensing fees. But then we need to pass on whatever the cloud service provider, and I'll use AWS as the example again, charges for its services. We help you optimize that to make sure you pay the least to get what you need. We then pass on their costs in their form to you. But our model is a simple licensing model that allows you access to our SDK or our tools, publishing optimization, those kind of things, and then it drags in a bit of cost from whoever the cloud service provider is. Hope that makes sense, Mitchell. Any other questions? Otherwise, I start singing Welsh rugby songs, and you do not want that this time of day. Cheers, Mitchell. All right, no more questions. I will hang around until my allotted time. I can sit here awkwardly for as long as anyone needs. Oh, do I have another one? I've got someone in the room with me, you'll have all guessed, who's pointing at, are you accommodating languages other than English? We are. I did write down the number of languages that our healthcare platform is already running in, and it's a lot, because it has to be. And then I didn't include it in my final notes. So I can get back to you on how many. It's at least 14. That's the number that stands out in my mind. It's a lot. So yes. Mariana, I was joking. I'm not singing. No, don't need it. Yeah, no problem. Happy to answer. All right. Slow typers have been accommodated, I think. I'm going to hang around for a few more minutes. If everyone's done on questions, though, I really hope that was useful. Do email me if you have questions you didn't want to ask in a broader group, or if you have comments, or you would like to spend literally millions of dollars with my business. I'm more than happy to accommodate those requests after a few qualifying questions. Otherwise, have a fantastic rest of conference, and thank you very much for attending this brief conversation. Thank you all. Cheers. I was on mute, that's why you can't hear me. I was trying to not just talk over everybody if they were hanging around awkwardly. Happy to chat if you want to, otherwise I'll go back on mute. Plus, I'm talking to my colleague in the office and she's shy. All right, the 14 holdouts. I'm going to leave now and go to my next meeting. Really good to meet everybody. If you need anything, just email. Cheers, everybody.